All right, good morning, Stampers. It is Tammy with Stampin' Scrap Tammy coming to you with a Facebook Live. Let's see, I am running way behind 11:07 because I was having some technical difficulties. I don't know, that seems to be the thing the last couple weeks for me. So if you are here, hello, thank you for waiting for my delay. I do have a really fun project and technique to share with you today. And so we won't take too long here. A couple things I do want to talk about. It is our last couple days of our bonus days where Stampin' Up is going to give you an additional $5 for every $50 you spend. And of course it's July, and I offer double punches in July this year. So when you get a punch on a punch card, after 8 of them, I will give you a free stamp set of your choice. So right now, if you place a $50 order, you will get 2 punches. And then you'll also get that $5 code that you can use in August with Stampin' Up. And also 10 cards. Okay, so I'm sending 10 cards. That is my order special right now. Double punches and 10 free cards that are all current. So current cards that you can use as samples yourself to recreate. And then coming up tomorrow in my weekly email, there will be sign up for an express stamp class at my home studio. So that will be on August 11th between the hours of 9 and 7. I have it spaced out about every hour and a half for a group to come, with 3 to 4 people allowed per time. I have 4 stations, and so that allows for us to safely social distance, and then you wear a mask, and I sanitize in between each group. Also, I will be sharing in the next couple of weeks, I have a community ed class. So if you're more comfortable stamping in person at a bigger classroom setting, there's an option there through community ed, and that I believe is the 3rd week of August, but I'll share the exact dates and times for that pretty soon. All right, so I'm gonna get down to it, and I will flip this around, and we will get started on today's projects. As I had said, we will be using the Stamparatus, and I'm gonna show you a couple different things before we go to the Stamparatus. And just hold on 1 second here while I get situated. Like I said, it took me a little while to get going here, but I think we have it all under control now, finally. And I'm also taking my chances. I don't think we can see her. Right below my feet here today, I'm trying it out again to see if Molly, our lab, will just sit tight and hang out while I'm doing this. Okay, looks like a couple people are watching too, so good morning to Barb and Tessie. Thank you for watching. Oh, well, thanks for catching me on your break, Tessie. You'll have to just catch the rest later because this will be a fun one. All right, let me get this flipped over the proper way. Oh, 1 second here. Okay, excuse me while I do this. And I didn't look too close at my positioning before here. So good morning, Cindy, as well. It was sure nice to see you last week at the BOGO sale. Oh, and that I should mention too. So I do have confirmed that we are going to have the craft supply garage sale. So if that's something you have participated in before, I will be sending out information on that in the next probably week or 2. It will be in September. Okay, so today's featured product or products that we're using are all from this month's birthday club class. So if you if you like these projects that I share today, you can get these still by ordering the birthday club class. I'll share links to that in the weekly email, as well as when I edit the link to this video. Okay, so we are also included in the birthday club. You'll get a package of the Artistry Designer Series paper, and then I have an embellishment. And let's see, the frosted epoxy droplets are included in your kit as well. And then supplies to make 8 cards, including envelopes. And so the featured products that I'm using, I use the Happiest Birthday to You, Happiest of Birthdays, of course the Artistry Designer Series paper, and then I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And I will show you the all of the projects quickly, and then I'm going to show you the variation that I'm going to use using the Stamparatus today. So these are card setups that are included. So you can definitely switch out this sentiment to something that you already own if you do not want to purchase or you don't have this happy birthday, happiest of birthdays to you stamp set. So they're very versatile. And there's a full tutorial. And then also included is supplies for this card. And this is the one that we're going to work on today. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to make this card. I'm going to show you that one. And then this is where I'm going to bring in the Stamparatus. Is for this card here. So you can see the different colors. And it's a bigger stamp. So that's why it's really nice to use the Stamparatus. But before I do that, I'm going to show it to you on a regular block. And I will tell you the measurements for these cards as well. I'll go slowly as I tell you those. So we're going to go a standard base size going the horizontal way. And so I'm going to cut it at 4 1/4 by 11. So it's 11 to start. A regular size piece is 11 by 8 1/2. So I'm just going to cut it 4 1/4, and then I'm going to have my 2 sides. And since I'll have 2, I'm going to make 2 cards. I'm going to bring in my scoring board because I am using the thick Whisper white paper. It is nice to score it. It's just a little bit thicker, so it's pretty handy when you score it. And what's nice is my Take a Pick tool does have a stylus end, and I will score it at 5 1/2. And I will do both of those. And so this card has very simple measurements. And then I do need a bone fold. I moved those. I'll be right back. I've been doing some cleaning in the craft room, so I moved things around a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and just fold these and use my bone fold to crease them so they lay nice and flat. And so when you do pre-score it on this thick Whisper white, it makes it so you don't get those little cracks on the edge. So again, 11 by 4 1/4 for our bases. And then next, we only have 2 other measurements on this whole card. We are going to have, I use Melon Mambo, and I cut that at 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. So here, I'll write that down for you. So if you want to write it down, you can. So 5, and I like to do this when I make up a sample card. Sometimes I'll take an extra piece and I will write it right on my piece of paper like this or on the back. And so then I always know when I want to go back and recreate that card. Even if I want to recreate it in another pattern, I have the measurements very quickly and ready to go for me. Okay, so 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. So then very easy to figure out this one. We're going to go a 1/4 inch less, and we're going to go 5 by 2. Of course, I did that 2 times because I'm going to make 2 cards today. And I'm not going to need this again because I have it written somewhere else. So see, we're not even going to see those anymore because I wrote it in a really light pen. And then I'll just get this all set up so that when we get the stamping part, we can just pop it right on there and be set to go for the day. And then I'll have 2 birthday cards, 2 different styles. And then we can attach these 2. Oh gosh, I'm still using my other snail. I did want to show with you. Where did I put it? Okay, so here, let me show you this. So this is a good kind of demonstration here. So this is our old snail, which is just fine. If you still are using it, it's not a problem. But when I use this, it's not quite as sticky. So if you see here, I'm gonna end up putting quite a bit on there because I want to make sure it'll stay. So I put it all over like that. Now, I have really liked switching to the Stampin' Seal Plus. So when I use that though, because it is extra sticky, all I have to do is put some here and here. And I don't want to do it when I'm on top of something. It works best if you lay it flat. And just, so that's all I need on there. So while this is just a little bit more expensive, you use about 1/4 of what you would normally use for snail. So I've really enjoyed switching to that. But I do still have some of the others, so I'm going to use it while I have it, but it just does take more. All right, so now we have our 2 card bases ready to assemble as soon as we get our stamping done. So first I'm going to show you the traditional way to stamp. And so we have this really large image, and you can just put it on a regular block like so, and it will work out just fine for you. But you only have one chance really to get it right, which it is white paper. You could cut more and just do it again if it didn't turn out how you wanted. But I'm going to show you how the Stamparatus will really make it so that you can give yourself more than one chance. And so this is going to be just a traditional way to make it. And when I do it on here, bigger stamp like this, I'm going to push it down just a little bit. I'm going to let it soak into the paper and just lightly push in different spots. But I'm going to try to keep it as even as possible so that I don't get any little shadows. And then I'm going to pop it up. If it sticks like that, no problem. I'll just go like that. So as you can see, it did work out really nice. But now let's move, let me clean it, and we'll move to the Stamparatus. And I am going to clean this off because I'm going to use different colors. And I did clean this up today. Bringing in this chamois makes me actually a little bit sad because if you see here is a bunny, and that bunny was from a stamp class from the last time we met in person, see there he is again, at the event center at the American Inn in March. So that was our last really big class where I think we had like, I don't know, 25, 30, 40 of us there throughout the afternoon. And we haven't been able to meet there since because of, you know, the coronavirus and all of that. So hopefully we will get back to that at some point. But until then, I hope that you either enjoying some stamping and crafting at home, or if you're comfortable that you join us in person for one of our smaller events. Okay, so now let's bring in the Stamparatus. And what I have already done is I've taken a piece of 6x6, just Whisper White, and I cut out the center with the piece that I'm going to use today. And it's going to fit in there nice and perfect to do our stamping. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this right where I want it to go. And then I'm going to take my arm, push it down, and now it's right where it's going to want to be, but it's stuck on this part. And you know, I do have a couple of these pieces. So I'm going to show you in the solid too. And this will be kind of a good example of how you can give yourself a second chance. Oh, so here, let's just tuck that down. So as you see there, it's stamped okay, but maybe I want it a little bit darker. So maybe I didn't quite get it how I want. So I can just tuck it back into my template. I can re-ink it a little bit if I wish to, so that I get a little bit more vibrant look. And now I can push it down again. And same as when I'm using the block, I am gonna wanna let that soak in just a little bit. And now let's pop that back up, and there we go. So now we have just a little bit brighter image by doing it 2 times. If you can see the difference there. So it just gives you more chances to do your stamping. Now we do need to clean this off. And the chamois does allow me to pull this up because it is kind of floppy. And I can simply just clean my stamp off right with it on the block if I'd like. And then what I'll show you next is a new technique that I have not used on a video before. Now what I do want to do, as you see, I have other templates here ready to go, but I just want to make sure that this is dry now. So I'm just going to push it down on there to make sure the stamp is dry, since I did just add it wasn't wet, but it was damp. All right, so next what I'm going to do, I'm gonna put this Melon Mambo ink pad away first off so I don't get ink all over myself. Then I'm gonna pull in my Stampin' Write markers. Stampin' Blend markers do not work for this. They do have to be the Stampin' Write markers because these are a water-based is what you'd like to use. And let's see, I wanna make sure you can see this side. You can. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my Melon Mambo on the top. And so, if you're familiar with coloring on these, you know that you color on it. Oh, I gotta get this ready to go. Let's put that in there so that as soon as I get it all colored, we're ready to go. So this might take just a little bit. So you do have to have some patience when you're coloring on your stamps, especially something this big, because it will take you a little bit of time and patience. So maybe if you're trying to work on being patient, this would be a really good technique to do. And just such a lovely card when you're done. I think it's so fun. And you know, it's really one of those, it's really easy to do this, but it really is wow. So especially your friends that don't make cards, if you give them a card with all this, they are just not gonna understand how you did that. It made it so perfect. All right, so now I can just simply go like this, but I know that it's probably not going to quite take, so I'm gonna do it again. And now if you have done this before in the past, before the Stamparatus, and this will work too, you would color in the whole stamp. So if you don't have the Stamparatus, you would color all of these, all the colors that you would like. And then you would do what they would call, I believe they called it huffing. So you would kind of just breathe on your stamp a little bit. Let's see if I don't know if I can show it on the video. I should have maybe showed it while you could see my face. But so what you do, I'm just gonna pick it up and I would breathe on it just a little bit like that, which you can still do here. And it just freshens up that ink that maybe dried a little bit on there. So as you see, that got just a little bit brighter that time. And so you can go back over this as many times as you would like. And then next I'm gonna take the Granny Apple Green, and I just picked 4 colors that I like the combination. Because in this color collection with the Artistry Bloom paper to the designer series, it's pretty much any bright color that you can think of coordinates with this paper. And so I'm gonna do these letters here and also this of down here. And you will really see how nice this Stamparatus is when I do this, because look at how perfect that is. There is no way that you would be able to, well, I shouldn't say no way, there's always a way, but it would be really hard to get this to line up just so. If you were trying to do it all at the same time, you know, you'd have to get it all colored in, but with the Stamparatus, you don't have to do that. You can take as much time as you wanted. So say right now you were coloring this, and say my dog here started barking and needed to go outside immediately, I would be able to set this right here. I could walk away, I could come back to it 2 hours from now. And it would be just in the same spot that it was before, and it would be ready to go. Now let's take the Bermuda Bay. And so I really hope this is giving you guys some tools to use your Stamparatuses. I know a lot of people have them and they just really aren't sure all of the things that this thing can do. There's so many different things that our Stamparatuses can do. It can act as just a regular, like a clear block. So if you don't have all the blocks, you can always use your Stamparatus. One thing I will point out as I'm doing this and coloring is that if you'll notice I'm in the middle, it is nice to stamp a little bit closer. So right along the edges, I don't tend to get as crisp of an image. And so I do like to kind of make a template like this to go in more towards the middle of the Stamparatus base. And I picked 6 by 6 because that is the size of my die cutting machine template. So the Stamparatus is a 7 by 7. But if I want to run this through my die cutting machine, it needs to be no bigger than 6 by 6. And so that's why I made it this size. And I like to keep it that big as well, so that if I want to store this template, it's easy to store. So I just, whenever I cut templates, I cut them by 6 by 6, and then I can just store them in one area together. And so I will also add, I am using the biggest Stitch So Sweetly die there. So that is the biggest one. So there's ones that nest all along there, but I'm using the biggest one on today's project. Okay, so that looks wonderful. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my hinge door down again. And as you see there, I'm not real happy with that. So first, before I color it more, I'm gonna just give it another push and get as much ink off of there as I can. And as you see here, as I keep doing this, that little bit of pink or the Melon Mambo that was left on there is continuing to add just a little bit of color to that. And so now I know that it is kind of this edge here that needs a little more ink. And I can go back over this as many times as I would like. And as you see, my placement has not moved at all on my label there. All right, still missing one little spot here. And so I thought of this idea to do last night because I knew I was going to show this card, but I really wanted to show it in a different way, maybe stepped up just a little bit. And so I think I have maybe something on there. So I'm going to wipe that off. I may have picked up a little fiber. So anyway, so I knew I was going to do this last night, this card. And then I thought of this little technique. And I'm glad I didn't do it till this morning because I would have been so excited that I probably would not have been able to sleep last night because I just would have wanted to show you right away. And I don't think anybody would want me to, well, maybe some of you would want me to show it at midnight. I think it was about 11:30 when I went to bed last night. And then I got up this morning and I tried it right away so that I could show you and get ready to go. I had to run some kids around this morning, so I did it first thing when I got up today. And then I just couldn't wait to get home to work on it. And I'm gonna probably make some more of these. This is really fun. So if you're getting this month's birthday club kit and you have a Stamparatus, you might wanna exchange out this card that I did in the traditional way to try this out. And any Stampin' Write markers will work. So you can pick any colors that you want. What I'm using right now is the pumpkin pie. But there would be no wrong combination. All right, so let's just start there and see how it looks. And of course I want it just a little bit darker, so we'll go back over it again. So this would be possible but difficult to do in one swoop using just a regular clear block. Having the Stamparatus really takes the difficulty out of it. So I will give this one more go and then we will attach it to our card. All right, so this is actually kind of relaxing now as I get going doing more of it. So this would be really fun to do a whole bunch of these. And we'll just give it a good push all over again to get all the ink off of our stamp. And there you have it. So look at how bright and fun this is. So we have two extremely bright labels now to put on our card. And we'll have a couple more features to add to this as well. And so if you have not tried that with your Stamparatus, I really encourage you to do so. And I am going to add these on with some dimensionals. And we'll put one in the middle. We'll go ahead and get these ready too and flip them over at about the same time. Look at how pretty that is. Both of these are beautiful. I really like how bright this other Melon Mambo one is when I did it a couple of times on the Stamparatus. Just gives it just a little bit more vibrant. So 2 absolutely beautiful cards. And let me just add some rhinestones on these. And so where I put the rhinestones, kind of fun, because I like to have an embellishment on every card. And when I looked at this card, I wasn't really sure where a good spot to add the embellishment was. And then I thought, well, if I add a little gem right on each one of the eyes, it would be perfect. So I'm not following my rule here. Usually if I do gems or embellishments, I always do odd numbers, but there are only 4 eyes on this card, so we're gonna go with 4. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so now let's move on to this one. And you could make this in any color. So you could definitely do this if you wanted to have, you could do this. This is the same layout, same measurements as this card here, only the labels are going different ways and this is a smaller one. But you could make this same card into more of a boy card, I guess, because these are more feminine colors. So if you wanted to be more masculine colors, you could use this designer series and add different, more greens and blues than the pink and the oranges if you wanted to do that. So lots of options. And it looks like I dropped a gem in the middle of my card. Just tuck that out of the way. And I am using my Take a Pick tool. And I'm missing one up on top here. There we have it. There are our cards. Let me just pull in quick. I'll pull these in one more time at the end. This is our host code. Again, our host code is good until the end of the month. I will be switching this one out probably on Friday. So the new one, or well, when the new email goes out. So this one is good today. Be good get tomorrow too, but then when that new email comes out, there will be a new host code to use. But until then, this is the current one available. If you use the host code or the new host code, you can get that order special with the 10 free cards. And who knows, maybe I'll probably even throw in these cards for you. Maybe a couple of those since I have them all made and ready to go. And so 10 free cards, all current cards, and then you'll also get double punches with a $50 order. So anyways, here we go. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And watch for your email coming out sometime tomorrow with all of the rest of the updates, including date information for the garage sale, the express stamp class, and much more to share with you. There'll be a free tutorial included as always. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day. I will be back here live next Wednesday. I don't know the date. We'll be into August anyway. So we'll see you next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. See you later.